Hello, hello, hello. This is Érika from a Small Robot Studio with a surprise live stream. I gave you guys absolutely no notice on this. We had planned to do the live stream, but we weren't sure which was gonna be the best day to do it. So we were literally playing it by ear, and yeah, like as soon as it was possible, it's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go live stream. So sorry for that. Thank you. If you're able to make it, or even if you're watching this later, I'm always glad to be here to spend some time with you. And yeah, so what am I gonna be doing today? I will be sculpting this little kiwi that's underneath me, that little drawing that I did. So we'll see how that goes. I cannot finish the sculpt so fast, so it's probably gonna be like a blocking as in past sculpts that I've done. So yeah, so I see that Fee is on the chat here. Fee, I don't know if it's Fee or Fi. Apologies for if I mispronounce things, but yay, hearts for you too. Thank you for being here. Yeah, like feel free to say hi on the chat. I'd love to know where you guys are at. Where are you at the moment watching this stream? I'm always excited to see like just people from everywhere in the world. If you don't know, I am Mexican, but I live in New Zealand, so it's already Saturday in New Zealand. Yay! I'm glad I got that right, and thank you. For how long have you been using Nomad? In Oregon, USA. I have not been to Oregon yet. I did a lot of traveling in the States when I was living in Mexico. Yeah, do you like it? Alright, I'm gonna get started here, and at the same time I'm gonna try to be active in the chat, which I haven't been great on the past live streams, but I'll do my best. I will start saving this right away, so I'm just gonna call this Kiwi. That should be easy to remember. I'm starting with the usual sphere. Yeah, this is just like the default new thing. And I wanna reverse this. I always work with resolution levels. This make it easy to being able to sculpt with detail if I want to do detail, or just blocking simple things like this. So maybe I'm just gonna leave like the 3 first levels, and I'm gonna delete the rest here and delete higher. If there's anything that you want me to show, that you like any tool or specific, you just let me know and I can slow down and go through things. Otherwise I just keep getting excited and carry on. So Fee loves living in Oregon. So many trees. Oh yeah, I love trees. I love nature. So we have Dimitri from Russia. Welcome, Dimitri. Thank you for being here. So you also want to come to New Zealand? Nice. I got some cool friends from Russia as well. They were my roommates a couple of years ago. But yeah, really nice people. We also got Max. Hi, Max. From India. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you guys joining here. I think that's cool about the different time. I usually do it like early for LA time, but doing it a little bit later allows for people in Asia to be here as well, Australia as well, and other parts of New Zealand. We have Nahom Nature Boy, that sounds cool. Oh, cool. So you're sculpting with me. That's awesome. What are you sculpting? Max, your language is Hindi. Nice. I don't know anything about Hindi. Well, I do have a friend that speaks it. But yeah, it's really cool sounding, I gotta say. It's always fascinating to hear other languages. I can't speak Spanish, of course, because Mexican, the weird Spanish which Mexicans speak. And well, just carrying on with what I'm doing, I am trying to get the shape of the body. I like to start from big to small, and because I have so little vertices, I have such a small mesh and not a lot of points, it's easier to move around. I can use drag or move and I can easily move these shapes around, but if I had this much higher, it's gonna be a bit more difficult to control the shapes. This is why I like to start like this. Cool, so Nahum, you are from Thailand. Nice. Yeah, you're close. Yeah, we're pretty close from New Zealand. What is it, like an 8-hour flight? Yes, got in a dragon. Cool. That's awesome. If there's anything that you guys want to show me, feel free to share it on Instagram or Twitter. Unfortunately, I'm too old for the TikToks, so I'm not on TikTok. But yeah, you'll find me on those two other ones if you wanna. If you post something and you wanna share it, I love reposting it. I will usually retweet you or like post a story on Instagram. I've got a collection of stuff that people have sent me, and it's always super fun to look at. It's exciting, like, to see that there's so many sculptures around. Yeah, I was kind of worried that because it was so short notice that no one was gonna be here, but yay, you're all here. This is awesome. We've got I think 12 people right now, so even if you're not in the chat, welcome. Hi, it's great to see you here. Thank you for joining me and not letting me lonely on the internet. Okay, this body might need to be a little bit more chunky, rounder, but I am gonna move on to blocking the head. Let's see, I like to use a tube tool so I can get a little bit of control. And I see a question from Ulysses 3D. Do I use Nomad with keyboard? I do not. I just use the gestures on the iPad. Yeah, I think it would be alright with the keyboard. Because sometimes I get some aches on my hand. My wrist is, if I'm not wearing a wrist guard like this, the other one, because I'm doing all like the, what is it called, all the gestures. Sometimes after a while I get a bit achy. So yeah, it might not be a bad idea to use a keyboard. So Max uses Nomad from an iPhone. Nice. That's a challenge with the small screens. I am spoiled with big screens. So yeah, I tried using it on my Android and I was like, nope, too difficult for me. Now the cool thing about the tube tool, like, you can block out so many random things. Like here I can get the general shape of the neck, and I'm gonna lock this so it doesn't matter where I tap around, I'm only modifying one thing. So I can get roughly this shape, the width, and I can add several radiuses, so I can maybe make this chunkier. It's got a bit, yeah, kind of like that. Should I go? Yes. No, I'm gonna go a little bit rounded corners, but not crazy rounded corners. Also, my drawing has a kiwi with the head twisted, so I am thinking of the kiwi first, kind of like in a neutral pose, and then at the end I would do the posing on my character. Oh, we have in the chat as well, Diego Herrera. Oh, you're Herrera, like my dad. From I always say Switzerland in English. Suecia, Switzerland, I think. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna keep this in English for the sake of the viewers. Since generally everyone is English speaker. We also have Giovanni. Giovanni. I'm gonna try to pronounce your last name, but I'm sure I'm gonna do it terribly, so apologies. Donnarumma. Giovanni Donnarumma. Ah, Meow Meow! Meow Meow is here! Julio! Oli! Julio is a great friend of mine. A great friend of my family as well. That is so cool. I should do more live streams this late, you know? It's not really that late. Alright. I don't know if that hit is gonna work, but I will probably need to stop for a second and look for Kiwi bird reference. Kiwi birds. Right, let's get that beak there. The beak. Beak. I really like the flat head, though I realize it in a lot of my designs lately. I add that like flat skull top. So maybe I should stop doing that because I do it really often. But also, who's gonna stop me? And now it's good to identify if you have any pattern, if there's anything that you're doing really often. So you are aware of what can be repetitive on your work, on your style. I think this is a longer beak. And see how many things I start like blocking just with the tube tool. It's really cool because it gives you that flexibility of slightly more complex shapes when the primitives are maybe too simple. Thank you, Meow Meow. Thank you, Julio. I didn't know that you've played around with the Nomad sculpts. This Kiwi definitely needs a much bigger body. Yeah, so this is why I like to go really simple at this stage. Like, try to get all the shapes. Try to get like a general statement and try to make it work. And we also have ace rolls. Hi! Yes! For how long have you followed the channel, Ace? Yeah, the channel has been around for a little while, but it's Nomad stuff we started. What was it? I think it was still 2020. Like, still everyone were in pandemic mode. But yeah, the channel has grown quite a bit. So thank you all for your support. It's really awesome to see like so many people in general watching the videos, learning Nomad, just getting your sculpts, getting your creations done. It is really exciting to see just people being creative, people doing things. I'm really panicking about this hit. I don't know what's the best way to do it. I really need some reference. Absolutely. Take this lesson seriously. Whenever you are struggling guessing, you probably need reference. Oh my god. Ace rolls. You've been here since the beginning. Forgotten friend from uni. Am I not recognizing you? I'm sorry if I'm not recognizing you. My husband started this channel, when was this? 2015. I wasn't on the channel back then. I joined on 2020. And it's been really fun. But yeah, I think that he started doing renderman things. Anyway, going back to what I'm doing here, I am blocking the legs. And they're not quite in the center. Again, I'll have to bring reference. I should have prepared reference. This was very silly of me. Again, take this lesson. Don't be like me. You can be smarter than this. Happy Moon, welcome! Welcome to the live stream. Does Nomad have the ability to snap on points or lines or faces like Blender? No, I don't believe that's a functionality yet. Blender, you can do sculpt and box modeling, but Nomad is just the sculpting. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything similar like snapping to points or that. I don't reckon there is yet. It might be worth asking the developer to include that. If you guys don't know how to contact him, you can do it through the Discord, the Nomad Discord. If you go into the Nomad Sculpt website, usually you'll find a way. You'll find a link to it. There's also the Nomad forums in which he's also very active. Believe it or not, Nomad is a one-person project. There is one developer. It's crazy everything that he has achieved. But yeah, he's super active there. It's also impressive how he can be doing all the developer stuff. I don't know what developers do, they develop stuff. And yeah, like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's much different when you watch me live than when I can erase all my mistakes from an edit. So yeah, you can ask questions if you are having trouble, like technical issues in Nomad. You can also post anything that you're struggling with. If you have requests of things that you would like to see, excuse the loud motorcycle going, you can also post them, and like there's things that I have asked for and they got implemented, and it's really exciting because I'm like, oh my god, I contributed to this really cool software. So yeah, it would be worth having something like snapping to points sometime in the future. Thank you, Tony Ponce. Thank you for your kind comment. I'm always looking forward to any feedback that you guys have. I don't want to assume that everything that I explain is perfect and it's all roses and unicorns. If there are things that you would like to see done differently on the tutorials, like by all means tell me, guys. If there's topics that you want me to address, that can happen as well. For the live streams or for the recorded videos, many times my brain just dries and I cannot think of what to do. So yeah, like, feel free to send me your feedback, feel free to send me your thoughts and in general what you would like to see. Now I want this tube for the leg to be rounded, so I need a really low number here in the topology menu. I think if I cover my mouse you should be able to see it. Yeah, here on the top topology menu, while I have my tube, I put the topology number quite low, and parameter I make this higher, and that is gonna give me this rounded ends. If this number gets bigger and bigger, that's when I get those corners. This is one of my favorite tricks, and I will keep repeating this over and over again, so people know about it, because it's so damn worth it. Okay, so now let's get that shape. Yeah, this is a bit better. This kind of looks like the chicken leg that I was looking for. Not that kiwis have chicken legs, but you know, kind of like the tapering that I wanted. No worries. I'm sorry I wasn't very helpful, Moon Happy. I wish I had a better response for this. Yeah, I definitely use a lot snapping to vertex or to edges when I'm doing box modeling in Blender or Maya. Since this leg is gonna be mirror on the other side, I'm not gonna bother doing it, doing the two of them. I'm just gonna keep it on this side. And once I'm happy with the whole thing, I will repeat it. Now, I really should look at some reference very soon, which is not gonna be very fun for you guys because that means I have to stop doing stuff on the iPad and just go into Google, but I'll try to keep it quick. And let's add a wee sphere for the eye. Now, I don't know if this eye will make sense because it's a huge eye. I don't know if this is gonna fit realistically on the skull. Ulysses, what do I think about 3D Max? I have not used it a lot, however, what I have heard about it, on how it is different from Maya, it sounds much better than Maya. I really like the idea of the modifiers like Blender has, like this non-destructive modifiers in which you can add, I don't know, an extrusion, you can add subdivisions, and yeah, like you can turn them on and off anytime. And Maya doesn't do that. So yeah, I don't really have a good reason to use 3D Max, like to go through the time investment and learning curve. Because I don't have to use it for work or anything. But yeah, like what I've heard about it, it sounds good, it sounds nice. Are you more of a 3D Max user than Blender or Maya? And for everyone else that joined us, that haven't been since the beginning, like feel free to say hi on the chat. Please tell me where you're at, where are you watching this live stream from. Yeah, I'm always excited to meet you guys. Okay, it's time for my reference search. So do forgive me, I really should have prepared this. Hi, just Michael is looking through the door creepily. Nah, he's alright. He's probably checking how I'm doing, that I haven't exploded in anxiety or something.
You took the Wi-Fi, the LAN cable?
Yeah, I got the cool, the Cat
5.
Cat 5.
You got there in the end.
I got there in the end. Man. Sometimes I just struggle to think and then to process what I'm thinking in English. Alright, collection of kiwis. I'm just gonna grab a couple images from here because I wanna see like what is closely like a neutral position. It's difficult because kiwis are always doing this, but I wanna have like a rough neutral position so I can then pose it. This is probably a good reference. I am just gonna chuck this on my Pure Ref board. I don't know if you guys know this software, it's a brilliant software. This one is on the PC. Pure Ref. I should probably write it down. I have my keyboard like behind the iPad, so it's not great. Pure... I think it's just Pure Ref, like that, if anyone is curious, and you can put a bunch of images in there, and yeah, just have them for reference. If you are working on the iPad, however, there is a pretty cool alternative. Let me bring it up here. This ref, this one. So like here, what do I have here? I think I just had one image there, but you can just keep adding images here, and you can have Nomad on the side. So whatever you are referencing, you can be looking at here, zooming in, zooming out, or whatever you want. And it's a brilliant way to work, so you're not doing the silly stuff that I'm doing, trying to guess and trying to get something right. Don't guess, just look at reference. The real world is awesome. Look at all these awesome kiwis. Look at all them kiwis. Anyway, I should be alright with these references to give me a better idea of how the 3D shape works. And reference doesn't necessarily mean having like a real life, like a photo. Like sometimes you may want to grab a piece of clay, sculpt something like real quick, really rough, to try to understand how it works before committing and before wasting a bunch of time trying to make it work on a more complex level. So generally I think that my design and a kiwi is much chunkier from the body. Way chunkier. I'm doing it more like a regular bird. A kiwi bird, by the way, which in New Zealand is just a kiwi. Here, if you want to refer to the fruit, you say kiwi fruit. So we have Alejandro Navia from Veracruz. Veracruz. You must have a beautiful weather over there. I don't remember the last time I went to Veracruz. For those that don't know, that is the coast of Mexico. That is the Gulf of Mexico. Well, the side of the Gulf of Mexico. But yeah, beautiful place. Really warm. Really warm. But lots of beautiful things to look at there. Yeah, this kiwi is looking really skinny. Kiwi, you need to be chunkier. Let's make you chunkier. Let's chunk up this kiwi. This is interesting, the legs. Because I don't want to think of the legs as just a stick that comes at the bottom. I'm trying to think of the whole shape. See how the leg articulates and it's hidden under all those feathers, but there are in there. So I want to kind of get that shape and see how it's a little bit more towards the back than the front, kind of like counterbalancing. Because yeah, they have really interesting shapes. This one, I'm not getting any leg information from there. Here we got maybe another interesting one. It's a baby kiwi. I'll show you in a second this lovely baby kiwi. Can't waste. Lovely baby kiwi. Look at that face. Tiny face. But you can see a bit better the legs. See how more towards the back. Really tall, really high up. And then we get this articulation. I'm not gonna do the whole articulation like we can see maybe on this one. This might be a bit too complicated, but at least I want to get this back knee, which I sort of have been doing. Let's see what Israel says. Oh, you're going to sleep. Well, have a good night. Thank you for coming. Oh my gosh, absolutely remember you. I absolutely know who you are. Creative people. Oh my god, it's so exciting to have you here. Oh, another really good friend from university. Yay! I just couldn't tell from your name. But that's awesome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we did do a Catzilla. I studied animation and digital art. So Ace and I were in the animation class, I guess, and we had to do all sort of random animated projects, and there was like this stop motion thing that we did. Yeah, it was a Catzilla. He was always super lovely because I just wanted to do cats, and he was like, fine, let's do cats. Why not? Let's please you. So yay, creative people. It's awesome to see you here. Hit me a message anytime. Like, we're still friends, man. I haven't forgotten about you. We got as well Sketchy Squirrel. Yay, welcome. Always happy to see you around, man. For anyone that doesn't know, the Sketchy Squirrel channel, go and have a look. It's brilliant blender stuff, especially the grease pencil. If you're interested in that, it's really good content. We have as well Rajib from India. Hi! Welcome! Happy to see you here. I'm really liking this time of the day. We get people from different places than the usual. Alright, let me try to get that back toe that kiwis have. I'm gonna simplify this tube. Blocking, blocking, blocking. It looks so simple, but oh gosh, it takes a while to block a character to get it to work. Let's see. We also have, I have no idea how to pronounce this, I'm so sorry. Sawyer Ikim? Sawyer Ikim, I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but I'm happy that you're here. From Illinois. Nice. Oh, yay. So are you also working in Nomad stuff, or what are you working on? Sawyer. Gosh, I genuinely apologize for butchering names. Yeah, like often when I am like teaching live, when I teach classes, especially here in New Zealand, like there's so many names that I just like maybe I've seen written down, but I'm like, what the hell? How does someone pronounce that? And yeah, my poor student. There was one student that had to send me like a YouTube video on how to pronounce his name because I would never get it right. Nice guy. I appreciate that he sent me that because I just made my own version of his name. That's, yeah, the problem of suddenly moving to a different country. I've only been in New Zealand for roughly 2 years. Yeah, around 2 years. I got here right before the pandemic. I got stuck and then I was like, I guess I live here now. So that worked. By the way, this image of the kiwi that I'm hugging, that's supposed to be me. Yay, very happy. I made it when I received my residency to New Zealand. So it's like, yay, New Zealand is great. I am so happy. I am so excited to live in this country. Yeah, all countries have their pros and cons, but it was not easy for me to get a visa. I tried other places and it was not the greatest outcome. So I'm always very glad. And I am very grateful with New Zealand. I don't know you guys, but I really like that back leg from the kiwi. Not leg, finger. Yeah, like that little claw that comes out though. I am looking at more reference now regarding to kiwi legs. So we have one that is pointing sideways and two that are pointing forward. Okay, that's good to know. Reference, never go around with a reference. Don't let anyone fool you telling you, oh, reference is cheating. It's not. I don't know everything in life. Sure, I've seen a fire hydrant. Can I draw a fire hydrant? No, I can't, unless I see a fire hydrant when I'm drawing it. And once I've drawn it once, maybe I'll try to stylize it and make a design. But yeah, no, I can't work. I can make things up in my mind. Oh, this was not scrolling, so sorry, I was not looking at the comments for a second. Oh, your name backwards. That's so smart. Now I need to Mike Rios. Ha! I'm really slow at that sort of stuff. Holy crap, I'm really slow at that. Well, there you go. I think that one I pronounce alright. Maybe, just maybe. And it is the outer one that is pointing out. And then I need to play around with the sizes so they work. And Mike is also working with an iPad Pro. Are you using this smart keyboard? Yeah, they're probably. I should probably try to use them. I should probably get one and use it. Like I was commenting before that sometimes the gestures, like the position of my hand, makes my wrist really sore. And the hand that I work with, I usually wear a wrist guard because I'm a dumbass and I didn't take care of my joint health, my wrist health when I was younger. And yeah, I just really strained my wrist. And even though I didn't ever get carpal tunnel, I did make some. I just make it difficult for myself, basically. So I need to wear the wrist guard to avoid having aches. It's alright now, so you don't have to worry. Everything is fine, but yeah, take care of yourself. Don't let that silliness happen to you. So yeah, probably a keyboard would be great. A good way to avoid that sort of what shall we call it? Illness, aches, consequences, sure. And you'll be a happier, healthy artist is a happy artist. I hope you guys are. Well, I don't know if you can't hear like noises going in the back. There is some cleaning going on with the neighbors, I think. So I just hear like bap 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 like against the wall. It's like ooh. Thank you for waiting for my live stream to do all that. Alright, it's time to address the head. The head. That like. Okay. That makes sense. Now, the connection of the Kiwi head is quite low. See, like how the neck is going like super low, and that's probably one of the things that I was missing. I don't know if I quite got it right here, because again, kiwis are often like just feeding themselves, like they eat earthworms, so they're like pointing down, but I made my design with the kiwi looking up, which is not as usual position for them. But yeah, I can see on this reference, see how low it goes. So that's one of the things which was probably throwing me off. So I'm gonna try to fix that. So it's great to use the tube tool because I can just modify these points very easily. That might be a bit too much. Yeah, like that, like the neck like just becomes the chest and it's really like going outy, and then a little bit back for the head. Yeah, just jumping back and forth between reference. Yeah, I would say that these two references would be the best for me right now. I'm of course gonna modify the shape of the head. I wonder if I should keep it separate. Maybe I'll do that. Why not? Let's experiment. Tiny head. I will make, I think, a cone. We'll see how that goes. Unlike the YouTube videos where everything is like flowing, and yeah, there's no interruptions like right now, which I'm just trying to think what to say, and then I just go yeah, you'll see all the experimentation, all the mistakes, of course, that I go through when I'm in these early stages. Sorry if it's boring. Some people find it valuable. You don't necessarily have to find it valuable. I understand that maybe you just want to see exactly what's the best way to solve it and you don't want to see me wasting time. that is fine. I absolutely do not blame you for that. Okay, so I think that kind of gives me a decent shape, like that rounded. I can easily modify it later, and I can try to place it, and it might be again easier to get a better shape for the head. So whoop, kind of like this. What was my design like? Yeah, I had like that flatness, that flat head, which I guess I will address eventually. Do I know about the latest Nomad update? I haven't checked recently. I was actually thinking about going to the forums this weekend and see if there's any announcement. There's a lot that has been going on. You can get the newest Nomad, on 1.65, you can get 0.66, the beta testing through test flight. If you go to the Nomad forums, you can get the instructions on how to access it there. It's in development. There's a lot of really cool features that are going in there, but it's not quite ready. The last time that I read about it, the developer was saying that it was super not ready to be released, which is a shame. It's been several months now. But, I'd rather have a working software than a annoying thing that breaks my projects. Also, I don't think the cylinder thing was working. I don't think it was giving me the control that I wanted. So instead I'm gonna use a cylinder. Sorry, I was using a cone before. And now I'm using a cylinder. So confusing. I know, I'm sorry. I speak very confusingly sometimes. I should ask my poor husband. Always trying to decipher what the hell in my Spanish speaking brain is it that I'm trying to say. Okay, yeah, this might give me a little bit, like, even though this is from a cylinder, I can make it really round, but see, I can get this tapering the way I wanted, which I couldn't from the cone. Or maybe you could, I just was not smart enough to do it. Whoop. And this might be a little better for me. It might not be the worst to do it with a tube as well. But let's start somewhere. Let's see how this goes. Just thinking because I can move around the tube a bit more. Move the beak. Let's do the tube. This is my usual process, experimenting. Trying something, if I'm not feeling it, thinking alternatives. If you're not feeling something, you don't have to commit to it. The cool thing about this is that there's plenty of ways to reach a result. So even though I can show something that looks really cool, like the process, it might not be the best for you. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to do unusual things that no creator is doing. This is your process, so do whatever is best for you. I do really weird stuff sometimes here. And there's people that can do brilliant things on Nomad. Like stuff that I just never thought about, and the way that they solve things is like, oh my god, I have been so blind. So yeah, if you have some maybe unusual sounding process but that has given you great results, feel free to share it. My voice is iconic, thank you. It's weird. Like the classic, listening to your own voice is weird. I cannot get used to it whenever I'm recording videos. Holy crap, it's like, oh, that voice. So it's nice that you, at least you guys, are like, yay. Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, I got a weird voice. I guess it's a classic. It sounds different in your head because of the resonance that the skull creates. Then, so when you listen to it, it's like, that's not the way I sound. Yeah, a bunch of weird feelings. I think this is better. I think I finally am getting somewhere that I like a bit better. Yeah, I had definitely a tube tool. How weird, a tube to create a head. That doesn't make sense. Well, I don't care if it doesn't make sense. It works for me. I don't care. Yeah, that beak is so much larger. I really like to exaggerate this on kiwis when I'm designing them. They're really cute. Damn kiwis, they're so cute. I've only seen them in sanctuaries because they're really difficult to see in real life. But I did hear one time that we were staying in a farm in the middle of nowhere in the north of New Zealand. The north of the North Island, the northest north of New Zealand. Because we have 2 islands, the north and the south. Well, there's more, but those are the most important islands. So it's really rare to see them because they're really shy birds. But we listened to one in like just in the wild, and that is really crazy. That was so. It was a real experience. Like I don't think that just because I didn't see it, it's not a valid experience. Like it's another sense that is. I don't know. I thought it was great. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense as per usual, but I was really excited to think that in my life I have heard a kiwi bird in the wild, because that's a rare experience and you gotta appreciate the rare experiences. Yes, this is maybe starting to... I know the head is still looking funky, but I will get there. Again, I want shapes, and I should probably be looking at the reference. And we have on Banshee. Yay, you made it to the stream. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Hola, bienvenida. Kia ora, Helma. That's Tereo. Probably very bad version of Tereo. That's the indigenous language of New Zealand. Kia ora. Kia ora. Yeah, I say it weird. Kia ora. Whoa. Okay, so let's look at the silhouette. How am I gonna look at the silhouette? I am gonna go here at the top on the shading menu. I like working on madcap. This is probably showing as PVR for you. I like to change it. This is my iconic purple madcap. There's plenty that come with the program, but anyway, it's not necessarily there. Underneath madcap, I'm gonna tap on lit, and I'm gonna turn off the wireframe, so I can see just the silhouette of what I'm working on, and I can compare what works as a whole, what works, like the main shapes, before getting committed into details. If these main shapes don't work, the details are not gonna fix them. So what I can see right now is that the legs are pretty short. I think the body possibly needs to get longer from vertically, and that is gonna be where I start, and I'll do another pass on it. Okay, so have I ever seen a Cockapoo? I don't think so. No, those are also really cute. I'm trying to think, because I've been to a couple sanctuaries, but I don't think I've seen a Cockapoo. Damn, I should really see one. Should be on my bucket list. There were some really cool exhibits about Cockapoos in the Museum of Te Papa in Wellington. Well, I guess that it was like generally about New Zealand wildlife. But there was a section that was about Cockapoo, and that was really funny because this is a kind of bird that are endangered, but also they make it really difficult to get more birds. Yeah, they have like really specific like reproduction rituals, I'm gonna say, and don't quote me on any of this. I am not a Cockapoo expert. I just remember that was really interesting to look at. But they're also like really silly birds. Like they're silly looking, but they have like this nice nature there. If I'm hopefully I'm not confusing with another bird, but it's like a parrot. I think it's more like a ground parrot from. Oh God, I hope I don't have this wrong. I'm not sure if they fly, but they mostly live on the ground, and they're big as well. They're like probably like chicken size or something like that. But yeah, they are like lovely birds. I'm kind of obsessed with New Zealand birds since the first time that I came to New Zealand. There are lots of unusual birds to what I'm used to. And New Zealand is all about birds because, unlike Australia, in which they have so many weird random animals and everything wants to kill you even if it can't, New Zealand is like just birds. There's nothing else. There's no snakes, there's no mammals, there's nothing like dangerous. Like if you go for a hike and you fall in the bush, nothing is gonna happen to you. Like you only need to fear human beings. That's the only thing that would kill you in New Zealand. Or I guess if you're really silly and you fall off a cliff. So yeah, I mean in Mexico you can find snakes relatively easy when you get out of the city. So coming to New Zealand, it was like, wow, this is weird. How is it possible that it's just birds here? Like what happened that there's no snakes? Or anything else. Like I don't think there's mammals, at least naturally here. Like of course now we have dogs and cats, but yeah, originally there were no mammals in New Zealand. Alright, so I didn't get it wrong. The Cockapoo is a giant parakeet. Yeah, lovely birds, absolutely lovely. I like how my sculpting live stream has turned into a let's learn about New Zealand birds. Hopefully this is not disappointing for you guys. Man, I really like those New Zealand birds. Did you guys know that on the last New Zealand Bird of the Year, the bats won? So it wasn't even officially a bird. The bats, they got the prize. Also, that's how much they love birds. There's this contest, I'm gonna say it's a contest for the Bird of the Year, and those birds get like extra funding on their conservation efforts, so that's nice. Anyway, I should probably talk about what I'm doing here. I am trying to refine this silhouette based on what I thought that was not working. I know that the head still has like a chopped off bit at the bottom. I might just add a squash sphere there to try to get it. But I want to make sure that the legs work, and I still think that it's much longer legs that I made for this kiwi. I tried to make for that design like strong looking legs, like make it like a really solid kiwi. That was because it's my home and it's a great place and it's a place that I can trust. It's a shelter, so it needs big strong legs. Yay! Ah. Oh, the Bird of the Year is about to open. Nice. In October 17. That is absolutely true. I didn't think about that. The bat is a mammal. Yeah, I kept saying there's no mammals, but yes, of course, the bat is a mammal. So I'm sorry, bats. No, they're really cool. I quite like them. It's really fun to listen to them at night. That's true. The bats are not even birds, and they can fly, and the kiwi cannot fly. But the kiwi cannot fly for a good reason. The kiwi sacrifice its flighting ability for the sake of everyone. There's this, I will probably say it wrong, but there's this Maori legend of the kiwi, of the story of the kiwi, why it's not a flying bird. At some point, the land was not habitable, like, I don't know if this was like before there were forests or anything, but the thing is that no one could live on the grounds, and there were like only birds. Maybe it was the forests were there. Yeah, because the world started with one tree, which separated the mother earth and the father sky. But that's another story. So yeah, I think there were only birds, but on the land no one could live. There was a lot of stuff happening there. So they asked the birds, like, does anyone wanna sacrifice themselves to go be there to make it habitable for everyone else? And no one wanted to do it except the kiwi. And I think the kiwi ate all the bad things that went down there and saved everyone by sacrificing its flight. And moral of the story, kiwis are great. That was terrible storytelling. Oh boy. I should probably talk about stuff I know about and not just half-ass stories. I'm glad that you find them interesting. You should probably Google the real thing for anyone that does not know the origin of the kiwi. Well, the story of how they became flightless. But essentially they sacrificed for everyone so that we could live down here on the earth. And all the other birds didn't want to. So selfish. So selfish. Now, an actually Nomad Sculpt related question. When painting the sculpt, do I prefer to paint fully in Nomad, or do I use Procreate or other software? I usually would paint on Substance Painter. To be to be completely honest, I would go for Substance Painter. So that's not a software that's on the iPad. That is a PC software, more specifically Adobe, which is a little bit unfortunate because it's very expensive. But yeah, I use Substance. It's just way more robust and way more what is it called? Sophisticated than one you can do on Procreate. Or Procreate is realistically the only software that there's out there. I could paint in Nomad, but that means that I need to have a lot of resolution on my meshes, a lot of points, and then I would still have to possibly go through Blender or ZBrush or something to transfer that paint into a UV map. So then I have a bit of better possibilities for rendering. Yeah, that's my answer. Oh, Flyer and Thomas, hi. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome. Any preference? Make the leap to Blender or ZBrush? What are your objectives? I think that is the biggest question here. Do you want to just do sculpting? Do you want to maybe model props as well? Do you want to do animation? Because Blender would be the software where you can do more things. But both Blender and ZBrush, when you start, is like there's so many buttons. I don't know what the hell is happening. And maybe I cried a little bit when I started using them. Okay, only sculpting. Then I would go for ZBrush. ZBrush is the standard, the maximum software on sculpting. If you already use Nomad, it's gonna be easier to pick up ZBrush, but it's really weird. I have taught ZBrush like to complete beginners, and it's just the logic of the program. It's just moving the camera can be, oh my god, so daunting. I hated ZBrush when I started to use it in university, but it gets better. I would recommend for ZBrush to check out the Michael Pavlovich videos. I will write that down. Excuse me, I need to move the iPad for a second because it's blocking my keyboard. Michael Pavlovich. Did I write that correctly? I don't know. So when I'm writing stuff, I need to think in Spanish. Pavlovich. Yes, that's the guy. If I didn't write it correctly, I'm sure that Google will correct it for me. But more specific, I mean, there's lots of stuff on YouTube, on his YouTube. But if you want like a more structured set of classes, head to ArtStation, ArtStation Learning, which is free once you register to ArtStation. And it's like a super long course. Oh my god, so long, so much stuff to learn. But it starts really basic. If you already know maybe like the navigation, like the basic UI, then you can probably move on into more of the tools. But if you're a complete beginner, that's a great place. And now, Mike, have I brought Painted Nomad Sculpt back into Nomad? And if so, if I have experienced a loss of quality after exiting Nomad and then reopening the sculpt. Honestly, I rarely bring the models back to Nomad. I assume that probably like after you paint them on Procreate, like you wanna maybe do a nicer render in Nomad, which is very valid. But what I would do is normally to take my sculpts to Blender and render there. So yeah, I'm afraid I haven't experienced that. You think that is maybe a technical thing that like a technical issue in the program, or like, yeah, I guess it's just in general. If you want an way more informed answer, maybe head to the Nomad forums. I'm sure that the people there or the developer can be way more helpful, because yeah, I have not experienced that. All right, I think maybe I will possibly regret this, but I think that I have sort of working blocking, so I will attempt to start merging stuff and working with a bit more resolution. We'll see how that goes. I made a copy. This is what is known as saving iterations. So instead of overwriting the same file, you get to a certain point and then you save a new version. And every time like you get to these checkpoints, this is a really good practice, because it's not uncommon in 3D that files will get corrupted and you will cry forever. When you lose your work. So it's a really good practice, because maybe if a file got corrupted, but you still had your iteration saved, you had like the previous hour of work that you did, you're not gonna lose everything. So yeah, I made a copy, so if I regret what I'm gonna do now, I can easily go back, which honestly happens way more than you think. always be saving iterations.
ABS.
I guess, says Michael. Michael is here, yay! I don't know if he's visible. I don't know if he wants to be visible though.
Am I visible?
Your hands are visible.
My hands are visible?
Yeah.
I should start looking at my phone there.
So Mike has been tinkering with a game and using Nomad to create better thumbnails. Yeah, that's very unfortunate that that happens. Yeah, I hope that you can get an actual answer on the forums. Alright, so I got these pieces. Something dumb, well, I think it's a bit dumb, that you had to do when working with multi-resolution. You had to add levels before you merge them and remove lower levels. So here I have this one, I have my extra level so it looks nice and smooth, and then delete the lower levels. If I don't do this, when I merge it, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna look like really polygonal, like low resolution, even though it has high resolution. And I am gonna go still for big squares. I'm not gonna go for a crazy amount of resolution at this stage because I can do my recalculation and still add more detail later. So this is what I mean. See how it's still kind of low resolution? And I could probably get rid of that weird bump. Just get a cleaner shape, even though this is eventually gonna be merged. Same here. Let's try to get a slightly cleaner shape for the head. There you go. And I'm gonna remesh one more time, and then if I wanted to have more resolution, I can go back to multi-resolution and subdivide once again. This is when I cannot do anything more with the primitives, that's when I do this, but I'm still in the mindset of let's try to go as low resolution as possible. So I'm not, so I can control myself. This is the way that I work. There's plenty of 3D sculptors that can start with really high resolution meshes and they do just fine. They can create amazing stuff, but that's not me. And I often find that if you're just starting, it's better to make it simple for yourself. A lot of points means that you have to control a lot of information. So if you have less information, you may find it easier. If you're one of those wizards that can work with really high resolutions, I take my imaginary hat off. Alright. I don't know if I wanna validate that neck, this one, because if I'm gonna pose a kiwi, I'm gonna need to have that neck what is it called, like, and it needs to be able to move around, so I want to keep those points. The moment that I hit validate, that is gonna be gone. So yes, I want to keep that for now. And you probably noticed that I often work with a wireframe with the lines on. This is a really me thing. Not everyone does this. Lots of people just want to see this clean. I do it because they help me see the shape. They help my brain understand a bit better the shape, the way that it's flowing. If there's bumps, like valleys or hills on the geometry, I can identify them a bit better like this. And I wanna refine this shape. I wanna get like this cone happening, but it doesn't matter from which point of view I look at the model. I gotta make sure that the silhouettes, that the lines, that they look clean, that I don't have weird surfaces, that I don't have like wiggles, bumps that I'm not controlling. And I want to make sure that I have this nice S-curve connecting here with the neck. Yeah, kind of. Salute, bless you. Michael is sneezing. He is a powerful sneezer. I, on the other hand, sneeze weirdly. I'm one of those people that sneeze like a kitten. Like I just go high-pitched and I sneeze a lot. A lot of people think I fake it, but it's like, no, I genuinely have a ridiculous sneeze. Alright, just to let you know guys, I'm gonna go for like roughly another half an hour. Yeah, possibly. If it starts to get really boring, feel free to tell me and I'll just go away and cry. Nah. I am gonna cry, but I'm not gonna go away. Actually, I might be I think I'm getting a little bit hungry, so yeah, I might just go for another 15 minutes.
Is that me starting to cook dinner? Is that what you're implying?
Yes. I mean, I can also eat other stuff. I can eat chips.
I'm assuming you mean you're going to go around and you're going to stop streaming, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I should make
dinner.
Happy wife, happy life, right, chat?
I got a little bit of spam. I think I
just ignore the spam, guys, in chat. Don't click the links; they're not us.
Yet, don't.
Obviously, just ignore them. It's good for the stats, at the very least.
I think I blocked the message. I think they're not there anymore.
Yeah, they're
like hidden or something now.
Yeah, the bots on live streams and YouTube is a bit of a cancer at the moment that YouTube's not figured out how to get rid of.
Yeah. And we had SB from CA. Is that California?
CA the state or CA the country?
I don't know.
CA is Canada.
Canada, of course. I was like, what else is CA?
Yeah, I mean, CA. Oh no, is Canada CN?
I don't know.
Are they in chat? Ask them.
Yeah, where is CA?
CA, is it Canada or is it California?
Yeah, we are curious. We are so so curious now. What do I think about experimental features in Nomad that we should never use? It's Canada. Features that we should never use.
Self-destruct.
Self-destruct, yes. I'm trying to think. If you guys don't know, you can find like some of the debug features here. They usually say like, this is experimental, be careful. I don't know if I would necessarily discourage you from using experimental features. Like, just make sure that you're saving. The problem with experimental is that they might go wrong, so you might lose work. So just be careful, make sure that you have a copy, make sure that you're saving iterations, and that is gonna be the biggest thing. So far I haven't really used anything that has broken my Nomad. I did do a video on masking. Like, you can turn your 3D sculpts into a mask that then you can later use, and that was an experimental feature in Nomad. So it's not a perfect feature, but it does the trick, and I discovered that by clicking around. So like, yeah, I don't think that I would say like, don't do this. are like quite the opposite. Like click around, play with the program, see how far you can take things before they start breaking, but make sure that you have saved. Yeah, if you have like a more specific sample, like yeah, let me know. So it was Canada. Welcome. What part of Canada are you in, SB? I have lots of friends from Canada. I have lots of friends in Canada. I'm slowly not being able to speak. That's probably the main reason why I should stop the live stream. The more my brain stops Englishing, that's when it's like, yeah, this is a sign, like, you cannot handle this. Yeah, sometimes I just revert back to Spanish. Sometimes I give up. It's like, you know what, Michael? Now you'll have to understand me speaking Spanish. I'm so sorry. And he doesn't. He understands a little. The Northwest Territories, Yellowknife. Every time that someone says a territory in Canada that I don't know, my brain thinks that must be a really cold place. It must be beautiful though, like all the forests, all the amazing landscapes. Is it like mountainous over there? Like, what is it like? For a while, Michael and I had the plan to move to Canada. We were gonna go to Montreal. But pandemic, yay! So now we're in New Zealand. Not that I'm complaining, though I still haven't been to Canada. I definitely want to visit. Oh, sorry, Miguel, you're also from Canada. Canada. From British Columbia. Westminster, New Westminster. Nice. British Columbia, that's where Vancouver is, right? I think. My best friend lives in Vancouver, and he is great, and I miss him. And he is a really cool person. He works like on the big leagues. He is a lighter for movies. Oh, I got it right. British Columbia, that's where Vancouver is. Yeah. And Yellowknife, it's a tundra. Oh, the northern lights. Oh, the sun never sets in the summer. That's so exciting. I'm in the South Island in New Zealand. It's probably not as south as you are north, but we get the southern lights. Even where I'm at, I kind of live like on the middle. You cannot see them bare eye, but if you set a camera, you can capture them. And if you like drive like southern, then you can like see them like full. Like it's really exciting. I'm still yet to see them, but it's like, oh, like that's crazy. Like to think about those. That was like something that I never thought that I would see in my life. Yeah, that's impressive. That must be really, really awesome. Ah, gotcha, Miguel. So you are, yeah, like in, yeah, the metropolitan area. Yeah. Yeah, you get to not deal with all the hecticness of the city, but you can still go there very easily. When I was living in Mexico, I was also not quite in Mexico City. I was like on the outskirts areas. But yeah, if I wanted to go to the city, it was relatively easy. Alright, I think the last thing that I will be working on is on the leg. So I will validate this one. This one doesn't have a very different shape once it's gonna be posed. This is probably a sculpt that I'm just gonna pose, not for animation. It's just like a 3D illustration, for lack of a better term. So I'm not gonna worry too much about the technicalities that you might need when you actually want to animate. I just want to make it easier to texture, to paint it later. But this gives me some freedom on how I approach this. Is that a kiwi? Yes, it's a kiwi. It's a kiwi bird. Because New Zealand. It's a national bird, in case that doesn't make sense. Yeah, lots of people don't know that. What is the significance of the kiwi for New Zealand? New Zealanders are known as kiwis. Yes, it is a national bird. Yeah, like people that are from New Zealand are known literally as kiwi, which I love. I don't know, since I was a kid I was obsessed with the word kiwi, so I think that is now probably serendipitous that I live in New Zealand. I'm not liking what is happening here with the legs, so I'm gonna go back a couple steps. But yeah, if you come to New Zealand, everything is kiwi. It's kiwi post, kiwi rail, kiwi bank. Like I said previously, you guys probably weren't around, but I made this illustration when I got my residency. So that's me hugging the giant kiwi. Am I using a stylus or my fingers? Main thing is a stylus, but all the gestures are with my fingers. Yeah, we were commenting earlier about using keyboards, which I think is probably a really good practice, especially if you don't want your hands to be in weird positions. I use my iPad with a stand, so it's like pointing like this, so it's angled. But the problem is that my other hand is in a weird position, and sometimes I get tired and I cry like a baby. Oh my god, you love Mexico. Have you visited? I love Mexico too. It's a nice place. Great food. Okay, try to approach this leg again. Come on, kiwi. I may need a tiny bit more resolution now. I don't have much to go from the design, from that illustration to create the leg. So I'll invent some stuff design-wise. And I kind of want to have like a corner on the back, so that's what I'm doing right now. And nothing fancy tool-wise. Like I'm just maybe pinching a little bit, crease, a little bit of clay, and smooth. I rarely will use lots of brushes. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So Canada's national bird is the common loon. That's I remember that joke. I'll remember that joke for my friends that live in Canada. So you've been to Mexico many times. What places have you visited? Yeah, we generally have in Mexico lots of Canadians visiting, and interestingly, not that many Americans, United Statians. Oh, cool! It uses Nomad in a Galaxy tablet S7. Yeah, I heard that those are really good. I think my little sister got one, and they're a great alternative. Because iPads are expensive. But those tablets are really good. I'm not sure where they're at price-wise nowadays, but they used to be a really good alternative. Damn, Miguel, you may have traveled more Mexico than I have. I haven't been to Puerto Vallarta. I have been to Monterrey, great place to eat. Well, that's all Mexico. They do a lot of meat, all sorts of beef, barbecued meat. It's a brilliant place for that. A lot of mountains there, so if you like climbing, that's a lovely place to go. If you are worried about the language, don't worry. Lots of people there speak English. It's really close to the border. So, yeah. What? You drove from Calgary to Nicaragua? Man, that's crazy. That's respect. Lots of respect. Oh, man. I would honestly be afraid to do that drive. I love my country and Latin America, but yeah, because of all the cartel business and stuff, not all the areas would be the safest. Oh yeah, also the maintenance on the car. Damn, that's really cool. That's a really long drive. Yeah, my husband is really proud, Michael, because he has driven from the top to bottom of New Zealand. Where there's one island, there's a Stewart Island at the bottom that we haven't been to, but we have driven from the very top of Cape Reinga all the way to the Bluff, which is the last populated place in the South Island. So he's really proud of that, but that's such a longer distance. We got more bots. Hide user. Silly bots. Such silly. Do you do that drive alone? Or do you travel with someone? Yeah, long drives are an adventure. They truly are. Yeah. I did a lot of long drives with my family. Well, they were the ones driving. I was the one sleeping. And I still am. Yeah. Well, sometimes. Yeah, because my family used to have like a summer house in the south of Mexico. So it was like like the tradition to go with the grandparents. Like everyone would go, but it was between 12 to 14 hours to get there, depending on traffic, depending on road conditions. So it was a long drive. It was, and it's like middle of nowhere. Like you can fly to a city that's closest, but you still need to drive for at least 6 hours to get there. But I used to love it. It was just amazing going all the way there, and I miss it terribly. So you traveled with a friend and picked up another one on the way back. Nice. Mike, in the symmetry drop down, let's open it. Gizmo edit. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good one. So by default, let me pin this. You can do symmetry in XYZ, of course, on all those axes. But you can choose to change the symmetry point. Actually, like this is the symmetry of my face, right? But you may decide, oh, but I don't want this point here in the center for whatever reason. Maybe you want it a little bit skewed to the side. You can do that in Nomad. There's few reasons why you would want to do that. I've definitely been in that situation. Though I can't remember exactly what was the example, but if you want to do that, then you can tap there on Gizmo Edit. And again, it's not going to be in the perfect center. You can put it anywhere you want it. You can rotate it on any weird axis. And yeah, symmetry is going to work from that. It does give you a warning. Since you can freely set the symmetry plane. This feature is a bit experimental and you should probably never use it. Yeah, that's a warning from the developer. Use it if you have a good reason to. Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't. But again, I don't want to say don't do this. Because I think that a lot of times this is about experimenting, finding things which can be useful, and playing with the software. So I have absolutely nothing against that. Why is that still showing? I don't want to see that. Why is it showing that plane? That line? I don't want to see the plane. Because this Gizmo Edit is still on. Haha. Is Nomad Sculpt easier for modeling than Maya? Yes. Maya doesn't sculpt. There's like two types of modeling that you can do. There's this type of modeling, which is usually referred as sculpting because it's a little bit more natural, closer to what it feels like, to what it would be like in real life. Like this clay, yeah, like the logic of like the clay that you're moving around. But yeah, organic. Yeah, that's a great word to say it. Yeah, it's like way more organic. And in Maya, it's not quite like that. Maya is very inorganic. Maya is what is known as box modeling. So you start with a box. You're not really using a pencil or anything. You're like using your mouse, and you like start creating faces, like extruding bits in and out. They're used for different purposes. Like again, that organic and inorganic is a really good way to classify them. Maya has incredibly old tools in which you can do sculpting, which suck and no one uses. I would never recommend to do any sculpting in Maya. So yeah, I would say Nomad is a tool for it. It's much easier to learn Nomad than Maya. I think Nomad's a great place to start if you are interested in 3D, and then you can easily move on once you understand the basics and the language and kind of the logic, then moving on to other software. Anyway, I am getting to my cutoff time, so I'm gonna wrap up this. I guess this is as far as I got. Yeah, this is still lots of adjustments. This is an early blocking. If you are curious, I would spend most of my time here at this stage. Then the detailing tends to be much faster. It's worth it, because again, details are not gonna fix things that don't work at this stage. Later on, you will get to do maybe the more glamorous things, like doing more detail, like working on the tiny things. Yeah, like usually people tend to be impressed more by those things, like working with meshes that have a lot of topology, and you can do this and that and pull this and that, but I personally cannot work early on like that. I do detail, yes, eventually, but unless I have these volumes working here, they're not gonna work later. It's just gonna be more work to try to fix mistakes that I couldn't get them to work early on. So yeah, working with low resolution, every so often changing to unlit, so you can compare your silhouette. Yeah, this silhouette is much nicer. Yeah, that feels a bit more like the balance of the Kiwi. That feels a bit more yeah, I just feel like this is way more appealing, though the head is not quite there. See the tapering that I have on drawing? That is still not visible on my sculpt. So that would be something that I need to be working on. But this is why I go through these stages. I go through these revisions. I would want to get a bit of a pointier tail at the back. So mine is still pretty rounded. That would be another thing to address. But yeah. Are those whiskers in my drawing of the Kiwi? Yes. He's got wee little whiskers. Yeah. You can probably see them a little bit better here, how they have this like I don't know if they're like officially whiskers, but yeah, like Kiwis, they look like they have hair instead of feathers in a lot of areas. Yeah, so I wanted to have that on my design. If Miguel, if you're doing if you want to do inorganic modeling in Maya, organic, like if you want to do characters, you can definitely like get some like a working mesh there, like a simple character, let's say, and then take it into the ZBrush, Nomad, whichever you want to use to continue sculpting. That's something that I like to do sometimes, because then you don't have to worry about retopology, which is when you redraw this arrangement of points, lines, and faces. Yeah, I mean, there is this really cool artist, Carlos Ortega, who does that a lot. I will write it down. Seems like we have more bots on the channel. How terrible. Carlos Ortega. Just trying to reach my keyboard. Ortega. He's got a lot of material everywhere in ArtStation. I don't know if he does YouTube, but he does quite a bit of things in Maya. I remember like years ago in university that I saw a video how he does a face, and it was like sculpted from a plane in Maya. I was crazy how he got there. Yeah, it's a very interesting approach, the way that he works. He does a bunch of ZBrush as well, but yeah, I don't think that he does the classic of starting like with a sphere and sculpting a face from that. Daniel de Oliveira. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. From Brazil! I'm glad that you joined us. Unfortunately, we've gotten to the end of it. Yeah, we've been going for a little, probably like an hour and a half, I think now. But yeah, my voice is getting tired. I'm getting hungry. Yeah, if I get hungry, I'm gonna be grumpy. So this live stream is gonna be very different if I'm grumpy. So yeah, this is as far as we got with the Kiwi. I will be fixing those things. I know that on the previous live stream I was working on a different character. That one is not done yet, but since you guys are here, I'm gonna give you the sneak peek, and to anyone that gets this far into the video, you can see how Magical Rat Boy is going. So yay, the eye is a lot more defined. I made a little wing there, which is still just blocked in. I've shaped the legs, and he's got little hands. Yeah, so this is your reward for staying this long or for logging in at this time. Yay! I will be posting this as well as the Kiwi when I eventually finish it. Thank you guys for being here very, very, very much. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for your questions. And just in general for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'd love to hear what you would like to see on this live stream or just the general videos. If you would like me to continue this or start a new project, maybe do some painting, just you can either comment, send me a message on Instagram as well. Feel free to share what you are working on, your creations. I am excited to see them. Usually Instagram and Twitter are a bit safe bet that I will see them and that I can share them. Always excited to look at those. I have a beautiful collection of the Sculpt box and Nomad, which is getting bigger and bigger. It's I love it. Yeah, so thank you again. Do shorts from live. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will consider that. Or finish a Kiwi. All right. Yeah, I don't see why not. But yeah, thank you guys. I will see you around. And bye bye. Happy sculpting.